Welcome to A World Gone Mad, where I'm your host, Christian McMillan. Today I'm joined by musician Frank Watkinson, who caught my eye or ear rather with his song this titled This Could Be My Last Song. How's it going, Frank?
Going fine, thanks. Yeah,
So when I heard your song, I thought it was a really beautiful meditation on one's mortality.
yeah, yeah. I, s- I, sp- I suppose it is, but I wasn't thinking, really, I wasn't thinking about anything when I wrote it. I was just, um, it was a bit subconscious, if you know. I can't really explain it.
Hmm.
I had the chorus, and I just wanted to write words that had matched the chorus,
Right.
and they just came out. The more I look, because a lot of people analyze it, I noticed, and I thought, why? And then I start reading it myself and think, I can see why now. Um, I suppose it was just subconsciously coming out. It's just things that everybody, I don't think there's any lines in there that people haven't sort of thought about themselves, so sort of just basing observation on everybody's life.
Yeah, one of the most common, I guess, traits of the human condition,
Mm.
something everybody has to come to terms with. So, did you write the guitar initially and then come up with lyrics later when you say that you just wrote words to coincide with it?
I usually write the lyrics because you might have noticed I'm not a very good musician. I only know simple guitar chords, and so I usually write the lyrics and then make the tune fit the lyrics. But I've got sort of the idea when I'm writing the lyrics of how the tune will go, and that was just a backing tune. When I first wrote it, though, the chorus wasn't as it is. It was a bit. It was a slightly sang in slightly different way, but when I started playing it, I couldn't reach the notes.
Okay. You had to
so,
adjust for your
so I had to
vocal
change. I
comfort
couldn't
zone.
get there. I started low and I couldn't get to the chorus, and so I thought, all right, let's change the tune and make it more simple.
That's a thing I've even seen some artists sometimes in the studio where if depending on the range of the vocalist, sometimes they've altered the whole key of a song
Yeah,
to accommodate the singer's strong suit.
that's what I haven't got a singing voice at all. I'm more talking. A talking. They say singing. It's talking really. Um, and if when I do the song covers, people's song covers, I always have to change the key totally and probably drop out a few chords as well, just to get it done in my style.
Yeah, that's part of writing a song, right? Keeping it provisional and
Yeah.
trying to refine it to the best final product.
Mm. Well, I don't. Like I said, I'm not. I wouldn't call myself a musician. I'm certainly. I've never played anywhere. I've only played here in my house. I don't do gigs or anything because I've got a memory like a sieve. I'd forget half the songs if I tried to do them. But I forgot what we were talking about. I see. I still have got a bad memory.
No,
Yeah.
that's all right.
So
Sometimes it's the
no.
microphone.
So I write these songs and I'll do it all the time. It's just a hobby, but I never think of them as finished. And they're not an album. They're not supposed to be the finished article. They're I've said this before. They're just like this is the idea. This is the idea of the song, and I'll sing it and play it. And if someone wants to make it all studio professional, then go ahead. But that's not what I do. But
Well,
then,
I think that charm really comes across though, because
mm,
the sort of artist it reminds me of is something like early Leonard Cohen or even Elliott Smith or something like that. And there's this really appealing trait of the minimalist production where it
mm,
feels intimate through the recordings. It just feels like it's me,
yeah,
you, and your guitar in a room.
yeah, and that's to be honest, that's how I like it to be
Hmm.
because people could. If I look through any of my recordings on YouTube and that, I can see every mistake I made, but they're because I do everything sort of live. One little mistake in a like a 5 minute song, I'm not going to do it again.
Right.
and
Sometimes on record too, mistakes are that little human
yeah,
piece of magic you want to keep.
yeah. If it's all, it gets a bit too what's it, sterilized, doesn't it? If it's all perfect,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can get well, it's technology so good. You could imitate my voice now on anything and make it perfect,
Yes.
but it wouldn't be me. There'd be something missing, and
Yeah, no matter how many studio tools there are to magically adjust things, I find people do just crave the human element all the
mm,
same as we always have. And that is, I think, the appeal of music like your own.
yeah. Well, I've seen. I think with me, it's like on my YouTube. It's what you see is what you get.
Hmm.
there's there's no real thrills. I've done a couple of like studio-y type songs with people. Um, I did a song called Bottle of Friends, and I do it acoustic. But a friend got in touch and he's a proper musician, an extremely good musician. He wanted to do that song, playing the music for me to sing to again, and it's pretty sort of rocky. And he made a really good video for it. It's all sort of professional. And I, as much as I liked it, it's still I could never go out and do that anywhere. But I could go and sing my version in a pub tomorrow. You
Hmm.
know, I couldn't do that. But so I do like it, but it's not really me. I'm just like they say, just granddad with a guitar.
It's cool. It absolutely, though, it markets itself with a charm.
Mm.
Who would you say some of your influences are?
It's that I get asked that a lot, and you got to remember I'm 71 now, and there's been a lot. There's been I was like anyone else when I was really young. It was always like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and it was especially Rolling Stones ballads rather than their rock. And then it got into the sort of 60s, 70s folk era with your James Taylor coming out and what's it, Ralph McTell, God, I think of them all, Pentangle, all the acoustic folk. And that's when I sort of realised it's the acoustic guitar I like.
Hmm.
Love acoustic versions of anything, and so there's so many influences. But I wasn't, I didn't play really very much. I sort of always had a guitar, but life gets in the way, and it was a thing I used to pick up just every now and then. And then just about 5 or 6 years ago, I went to see Passenger. I don't know if you've heard of Passenger.
I don't think so. I can't think of it off the top of
You
my head.
probably he's got a big following. Um, he's only had one real what you would call a hit, and that's not his best song. And that's "You Only Miss the Sun When It Starts to Snow." Only miss the road when you're missing home, something like that.
Okay, I know the
Let
song.
it go.
Yeah.
And I went to see him, and it was just him and an acoustic, and that just got me back into it. I picked it up and thought, he's playing all the sort of chords I play, and nearly every song sat, and that's basically me, a younger version of me. And so I started doing like passenger covers for a little while, and then uh, kept on doing it this time. But I started it putting on YouTube, not expecting anybody to listen at all. And my YouTube's now gone. Well, I'm not far off 1 million subscribers now. So
Yeah, a great deal of people are watching.
yeah, which is I still find it hard to believe, but it's there.
I think it is. It goes along with the music and it kind of markets itself. Whereas even just you alone with your guitar in your place and not expecting anyone to pay attention really is one of the most charming elements of it.
Well, my YouTube seems to have turned into a bit of a cult as well. There's the comments and people opening their souls up to me in their comments, their life stories, and some of them asking for advice. I'm not really one for advice. I'm not. I'm
That's
not.
got to be how akin they feel to the music,
Yeah.
where they feel like they know you and can ask you
Yeah.
for
Well,
life's answers.
a lot of them say they're calling it my channel their safe place on the internet,
That's cool.
which is I like. It's nice. You know I quite like it, but it's just it just sort of a couple of covers that really got hit like sort of big, and it's surprising how things change overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It was what one night I was watching my grandson. He put the stats on my YouTube. He said, "Look at this," and there was the subscribers, and it was ticking over like a clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, "Wow, when's that going to stop?" But
Probably only gain momentum.
yeah, well, it's funny. I think YouTube must promote certain stuff because there's songs I did a long time ago that I'd all forgotten about. All of a sudden, start getting commented on. So I think they're like pushing them in a way, like suggesting them on lyrics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah, the algorithm takes a path of its own over time.
yeah, yeah.
How do you determine what songs you want to do covers of? Because you have a bit of a diverse range in terms of
It's
artists you'll cover.
it's mainly suggestions.
Okay.
I get people say, "Do you take requests?" So, well, I don't exactly say yes. I take requests, but there's nothing to stop people requesting. The
Mm-hmm.
comments are theirs, so they make a request, and I look at them, and if the song sort of think, oh, I could possibly do that, I might be able to do something with that one, and I'll do it. But I've got so many requests that I couldn't do. Somebody asked for what's it? They can you do a song? I can't remember what the song was, and I listened to it, and it was about 6 minutes long of really rocky, heavy guitar and about 4 lines of singing, and it was the same 4 lines about twice. And I thought, well, that's not going to translate on an acoustic guitar very well. We were strumming, singing 4 lines, and then no lead for the next 4 minutes. So you have to I just work out what I think I can do. Um, but the one that really got big was Snuff, the
Mm-hmm. That's
Slipknot.
actually what I had in mind, the Slipknot
Yeah,
cover.
well, I've told a lot of people that story was a friend in Liverpool messaged me and said, Can you do this one?" And I listened to the Snuff version, the Slipknot version, and then I checked it out. And so I sent that to him saying, no, no. I said, this is what I came up with. So the answer is no, I can't do this one. But he liked it so much, he told me I should post it. And I didn't expect anybody to really like it, but it went mad, that one.
I like it myself. I think
Yeah,
it is you do something really well in terms of covers where you make them your own. And it might
yeah.
be what adjusting to your comforts, but it's whether or not you would view it as adjusting
Mm,
for weaknesses, it becomes a strength in the finished product for sure.
yeah. Well, with me, it's adjusting it to make it where I can play it, and in my key and using the chords that I know. And I suppose that's what a lot of people say. Oh, you've made it your own. Well, I think what I've done, I've made it. Anyone who's not that good on guitar, I've made it where they can play it as well. Because if you know 4 or 5 chords on a guitar, you can play any of my songs.
I know what you mean. At the same time, you're the one playing them.
Yeah,
There's a lot of instances in life where people see someone get a great deal of attention for doing
mm,
something, and there's so many people going, I could have done that, but you
yeah,
know what? You didn't. They
yeah.
did.
Well, that's you get that with somebody was talking a young lad. He was boasting how he could play all Jimi Hendrix songs. Oh, I know all the this, then and I can do all this and that. But he's not taking into account that when Jimi Hendrix was doing it, they never had the equipment. He was getting his sounds and that just through his amp and the things he was doing, not setting the not setting all the stuff to the Jimi Hendrix sound.
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't
You know,
pre-programmed Jimi Hendrix settings when
yeah,
Jimi Hendrix was doing it.
yeah. I bought an amp years ago. I don't really play electric. I can't get on with them. But I did buy an amp a long time ago, and that actually had it had in the manual for it said for the Jimi Hendrix sound clip list for the Rolling Stones sound, telling you how to adjust the things. So in the when they came out, they didn't have that.
Hmm. Yeah, all these years later, right? It's templates. Everything's
Yeah,
templates, and
yeah.
sometimes it's hard to be original these days. And music like your own, though, can highlight just how sometimes it isn't more features or more use of templates to be unique. You don't have to mix together traits of various genres or various influences. Sometimes going back to the bare bones is
Mm.
something that constitutes a unique feature nowadays. Sometimes less is more.
And also, I think a lot of um, I I'm like most people. I think I've got 2 flies in this room, and they're driving me mad. Uh, I'm not very keen on my own voice, but if you read all the comments, a lot of people like my voice, and I can't. So I'll go along with it. I can't change my voice, but I think that's half of it. But I think another half of the followers is the dog behind me. It's asleep. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I've noticed it in some of your pictures before.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just want to see the dog.
It's important. It's important. Dogs become a part of you. I love my dog myself.
Yeah.
But mine could never be in the room while I was recording, that's for sure. He's too rambunctious.
Mm. He's not that. He's only 6, but I think when I get in here and sit here, he knows what's coming. He
Right.
knows that, oh, he's going to be playing his guitar for the next hour now. So he just flops up there and
Enjoys
sleeps.
the show.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you
He's
do
all
all
right until he starts snoring through the song.
that is exactly the same issue with my dog. I have a really large bull mastiff boxer mix.
Yeah.
So even if he's sleeping in the same room, his snore is
Yeah.
just such a
Yeah.
powerful low tone.
So it is, and he's only a small dog.
Do you do your recordings yourself?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I just have a um. What's it? I've got a couple of like just USB interfaces,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have any what you might call mixing on them. All they are really is where I can plug two microphones in, and I try to keep them outside, but I've got a microphone to the right of me. Well, you can
Mm-hmm.
see it there, but it's usually out of sight, and another one that sticks up under the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't always get it right. Sometimes you can't hear the singing and can't because I've also got two cats and they walk across here and change all the settings
Yeah.
as they walk over it all. Um, but I do that, and then I just drop it into GarageBand,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no double tracking. It's all done live, so I can't separate the lyrics. I can't separate the vocal because it's all done in one,
Mm-hmm.
recorded in one. But I put it in GarageBand to because when I record and play it back, if I was to just post that, you'd have to have your volume on full, and you still probably wouldn't hear it very well.
Yes.
And I don't. I've got this app, this iMac, and I've gone on like the forums. Why are my recordings so quiet?
Mm-hmm.
You never get an answer, or you get a simple answer. Just go into settings and set input level higher. Well, it's on full blast, and it just so I put it in GarageBand, raise the volume, and sometimes there's an effect there called natural strum, which softens it.
Okay.
And that was mainly because I used to have really cheap microphones, and there was always a hiss.
Mm-hmm.
You put the natural strum on, it was a bit like a noise controller. It would take a lot of the hiss off
Okay.
and make it sound a bit different. But like that snuff song, that was with a really cheap mic that had an echo on the mic, but it
Okay.
never quite turned off. Even though I didn't want any echo, it was a tiny bit. So that's why um, I keep wondering whether I should do it again. But I think better not. Well, yeah, it's not. That's the one that everybody likes. I don't think I'll do it again
Yeah,
because it
that
is.
might be a
Oh,
happy accident.
yeah, it was a. Even I think so. A bit too much like reverb because once I'd put it in GarageBand and raised the volume, it made that echo even more. So
Mm-hmm.
it on the guitar too much of it. But you don't. What do they say? If it's not broken, don't fix it. So
Exactly.
best leave it as is.
Yeah, sometimes a court of public opinion, what you have as a mistake or view as an
Yeah,
accident will be interpreted very differently.
yeah. It's like the next one was another one which they went. It was Creep, and I was never going to do Creep. I was never going to do it. And then I did. Someone asked me to do Mitski song. I've only heard a couple of Mitski things, and I did that. My Love All Mine. And as I'm doing it, I thought it's basically Creep. Chords that Creep's a C and Mitski's C major seven.
Hmm.
Then to E for Creep, E7 to. It's so very similar.
Hmm.
So I did a Mitski song, and that went mad. And then I kept getting asked for Creep again, asked for Creep again. I think, and I really didn't want to do it because basically playing the same song again. So I just did it sort of quickly one morning because they wanted it, and I did Creep, and that took off as well. So I'm looking for songs on those four chords from now on.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Are you a big Radiohead fan in
I
general?
like Radiohead, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I was a massive fan of anybody. There are. Uh, I like what I like.
Mhm.
I mean, I do like most of what I hear from Radiohead. I do like, but I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go uh, like so obsessed that everything they do is great because I'm their fan. If they do something bad, but then there's other bands that I wouldn't even dream of listening to, and then they come out with a song which is actually good,
Yeah.
and you can't not like it because you don't like the band. I think that's a good song. That is. So I like anything.
Yeah, sometimes you have to analyze each individual piece
Yeah,
and release from an artist. I'm the same way, whereas sometimes I like to break it off into albums a lot of the time,
yeah.
that even bands I love will have stronger and weaker albums.
It's usually the. I found it's usually like the second album.
Is
The
when they
first
really hone it.
the first one really does it, and the second one is where the record company is. We need another one.
Yeah, and sometimes trying to recreate magic in a bottle is
Yeah,
what causes a flop, or it just takes away some of the
yeah,
genuity and vulnerability that might have been the magic the first time around for an
yeah,
artist.
yeah. I don't really have that problem because I don't record it. I don't think I would get a record company behind me.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
I don't think you need a record company behind
No,
you.
no, I was quite pleased because uh, that's another thing. The new phrase a little while ago was indie,
Yes,
which independent artist, and someone says you're an indie, and I thought, oh, that's cool.
that was exactly what I had in mind if I was to describe your work.
Yeah.
And that's usually what would be used to describe artists that I like that I would affiliate you with, but
Mm.
usually for the same principle of just, you know, bare bones guitar, intimate, vulnerable on the track, not a great deal of production. Really lets the music just speak for itself.
Yeah. That's, sometimes people don't like what they hear.
But sometimes that'll be a tribalized matter, just like
Yeah.
anything. Sometimes something will rub some people the wrong way, but it'll be your biggest song at the same time because what
I
doesn't
think
tickle someone's fancy will speak great volumes to a myriad of other people.
there's always someone that looks for the downside, looks for when I used to work, there was always people that always look to how they can't do a job rather than how they can do a job.
Yeah, true.
Reasons we can't do it, and they got 1,000 reasons. Um, but looking for the downside, you've seen my guitar,
Hmm.
and it's got a peace sign.
Yep.
And I got a comment the other day. It said, "Why the upside down cross on your guitar?" I thought, oh dear, someone's got it in his head that this is probably a god person thinking it's an upside down. And I thought, I wish people would look a bit closer.
Yeah, sometimes I'm even skeptical if those are real people.
Mm,
There's this theory called the dead internet theory, where
mm,
people think a lot of the people online aren't real people and they're actually what you'd call bots. And those
yeah,
bots are putting influence into the world to just misrepresent what people think, whether it's of art, politics, movie,
yeah,
culture, but to try and enhance the arguments online.
yeah. Well,
And
there is a lot of that, isn't there? 'Cause there's people. There's been people posting their like scam texts,
yes,
and they'll go like, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Okay. What did you do today? And they say something like, I just went outside and murdered my neighbour. How about you? Oh, I went to. There's no.
they're not
The answer
shocked.
doesn't. They're not reading the answer.
Yeah, it's automated.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of that, but it's getting a bit scary, really, isn't it? I mean, you see these sort of futuristic political films, where somebody gets framed for blowing up something, and there's a video of them actually going in and that, and it can so easily be faked now,
Yeah, it's all
and it's getting scary.
artificial.
Really. Yeah, it's getting
Yeah,
scary.
even just right down to the amount of celebrities, podcasters, and there's
Yeah,
videos of them saying things that they've never said. Sometimes
yeah.
they seem real enough, though, if somebody, depending how much the artificial intelligence knows the
Mm.
person, where you'd
Well,
believe it was this person speaking.
yeah, we've got one of I was going to say Prince Charles, but he's our king now,
Hmm.
King Charles, and he's telling a really dirty joke.
Right.
But it's his voice and everything, and it's his face. And if you didn't, a few years ago, you would have honestly thought that was him.
Yeah, yeah. That's what some people wonder if it's going to become something that you can't determine what's real from
Yeah,
false. And then some people hypothesize that young kids, just like how every generation is learning to use an iPad a little
yeah,
faster, a little easier. If young people of future generations are going to just develop the instinctual observation skills to know what's an artificially intelligent production and what's real. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
yeah. They've got a lot of learning to do because I've got someone thinking I was AI.
Really?
Yeah, I had to do a post about it, um, and he had all the reasons. But if you look at his lips, it's not quite in sync, and his fingers on the guitar, and he says it's AI and all this lot. And the reason, if anything of mine looks out of sync, it's because of the putting the audio into GarageBand with the video, and GarageBand wasn't really made for videos. So when you save it again, it's not too bad, but every now and then it's way out of sync.
Right, right.
And it's like I have to go back and try to slide the audio to see if I can make it fit, and you can never get it dead on.
That's what it's difficult, right? I
Yeah,
do a lot of nudging left and right myself, trying to
yeah,
find that perfect sweet spot for the exact reason you're describing.
yeah. So that's why, and things will look out of sync on mine. I've got no, I've got no real technical skills.
Well,
I'm
that's
not,
still, you're making the most of the skills you have without a
yeah,
doubt.
and that goes for my music.
Yeah, no, absolutely though.
I did do a video on YouTube. I said I know I'm not a very good singer, and I know I'm not a very good guitar player. So I just have to make the most of what I've got. But the thing I do say is, you don't have to be perfect if you enjoy doing it. Because there's a lot of, I know what I was like when I was about 16, 17. And I wouldn't dare play a guitar in front of anybody because I knew I was rubbish. But if you like doing it, there comes a time when who are you going to please, yourself or the non-audience really that's not there? So
Hmm.
so do it.
That, and even if you don't think you're good at it, your natural interest in something, I think, is what
Yeah,
is most important for you to become a master in any field. You don't really
yeah,
get to determine your interest and what stimulates you out in the world. It kind of just happens naturally as a
yeah.
fact of life. I think that's a great place for us to leave off as we're getting low on time.
That's all right.
Thank you very much for being here, Frank.
Yeah, well, at least we got it done in the end.
Yeah, yeah, after a couple scheduling snafus.
Yeah,
No, thank you very much for being here. I would recommend that everyone go check out Frank Watkinson's YouTube page, his various covers, and his song titled This Could Be My Last Song. Thanks for listening.